Protection is increasingly discussed as an important part of humanitarian assistance. But what is it? And what does it mean for WFP? WFP provides assistance to communities affected by conflict, natural disasters, and extreme poverty. In this context, people who are hungry are often also vulnerable to other risks, such as violence, discrimination, or abuse. These risks, which can lead to violation of people's human rights, are known as protection risks. In the past, WFP was not always aware of its role in reducing or mitigating protection risks. It might conduct a distribution, for instance, without thinking about whether beneficiaries would face attacks on the way to or from distribution sites, or whether we were providing assistance in a dignified manner. But now, WFP has its own protection policy and guidance to help define its role. For WFP, protection means designing and carrying out food assistance activities that do not increase the protection risks faced by crisis-affected people, but rather contribute to their safety, dignity, and integrity. Protection is focused on affected people. It is not about WFP staff security. The first element in WFP's definition of protection is safety. WFP must ensure that its programs do not expose people to injury, violence, coercion, or deprivation. This means WFP needs to identify the safety risks people may be exposed to through participation in our programs and try to mitigate these risks through the way we design and implement our activities. For an example, WFP should consider whether program sites are located near areas that are safe for people to get to, whether asset creation activities have sufficient safety measures in place, and whether the choice of transfer modality, such as food or cash, might affect people's exposure to risk. The second key element of WFP's definition of protection is dignity. Providing assistance in a dignified manner means treating people with respect, as well as giving due regard to their aspirations and wishes. WFP's intervention should never humiliate affected people or treat them as mere objects of charity. Assistance should support people's own strategies and be designed taking into account their opinions and wishes. The third element of WFP's approach to protection is integrity. Although we focus on addressing people's hunger, we know that they have a full range of other needs and rights: physical, emotional, social, cultural, and spiritual, that we have to take into account. Considering people's different needs and capacities helps ensure that everyone benefits equally from our assistance and that we do not inadvertently perpetuate or exacerbate discrimination. For instance, we sometimes make women the entitlement card holders in a family without considering whether collecting the food may place an extra burden on their time and energy. In other cases, we may forget to make sure that disabled people are able to access our distribution sites. Understanding the whole of people's needs and rights is part of respecting integrity. Safety, dignity, and integrity consideration should be integrated in all our food assistance activities. In some cases, we can go even further and design our food assistance activities to directly address protection risks. For instance, we can provide food assistance that complements protection programs to support the reintegration of ex-child soldiers or victims of rape in their communities. Alternatively, When food insecurity is the root cause of protection risks such as human trafficking or child labor, we can directly reduce these risks by providing families with income. It is important to note that this is not the same thing as doing protection programming, such as rescuing trafficked children or providing legal support to refugees. WFP does not do protection programming, but we can sometimes contribute to positive protection outcomes through our food assistance activities. Looking beyond our own operations, a final way that WFP can contribute to protection is through advocacy and coordination. WFP's significant field presence means that it is often uniquely placed to observe protection risks in the field. It should refer protection issues to the right actors and, where appropriate, use its influence with governments, donors, and other humanitarian actors, including protection-mandated agencies, to help promote a stronger protection response. If you want to better integrate protection into your work, here are a few things you can do to get started. Read WFP's protection policy, which describes the key issues in more depth. Identify a protection focal point in your country office and access expertise at the regional bureau or headquarters level. Undertake a protection analysis to understand the risks and potential mitigating measures. Then you will be well on your way to integrating protection and contributing to the safety, dignity, and integrity of the people we serve.